Hello.
Hello, we're back. Thanks for joining us. Well, Sheffy, these masks,
They're itchy.
they're itchy, but we're doing our part. This was our first week of the restaurant being open, and we're all doing our part to prevent the spread as much as we can. And I think I think our guests are very pleased. We've been doing our hand sanitizer, our gloves, our mask, and boy, it sure is nice to see everybody again. I know there's several people that we get to see when they come and pick up their to-go wine, their to-go meals, and we love seeing you, and we love seeing the people that have been able to come out and dine in. We're going to continue to do our virtual tastings, and I think there's a lot of value to it, even for people that may not even be tasting along with us. They can see the comedy genius that you are, Chef.
New show every week.
We really enjoyed last week. We were up there at the front of the restaurant. It was our last. I think that was the last night before we opened.
Yes, it was.
And boy, those next 3 days, that was a workload. And we made it. We did it.
We did it.
Yeah, it was great. So now we're kind of in.
A lot of practice.
Yeah,
but
we have.
It's snapped back.
A few decades, you know.
Yeah.
This week have a more reasonable schedule, I would say, for our personal stuff. But we are open 5 days a week for lunch, and then 3 nights for dinner. So if you get the hankering, come out to Old North State Winery and have some food and wine with us.
Dining room looks great. The whole place looks great. It's very open.
Yeah, it was a bit of a disaster when we filmed our last.
Well, I think
video.
that was really the big difference going into the week. I mean, when we're going into opening, everybody kind of being exhausted from all the work getting ready. This week, we got a little time to catch our breath, and starting the work week out refreshed has made a huge difference. But we're all, thank you. We're all invigorated for the road ahead, and
Yeah,
it's exciting.
We had a day of recovery, and I think most people slept a lot, took naps and whatnot, and got to know their other significant others who they haven't seen for much. And that's always good for the soul as well. So thank you to all the family members that have been patient in our lives. And now we're looking forward to working hard, but maybe not being totally detached from the world. How about that?
That will be a welcome change. I slept I woke up at 6 when I normally do, and then went back to sleep till 8:30.
That's very late. That's an extra 2.5 hours.
I haven't slept that late in a long time. It felt great.
Well, Saturday night, you had some droopy eyes. You were hobbling. You were hurting.
I was crispy.
The week was taking its toll, but we made it. We were very happy with the way things turned out. It was just really nice to be back with our friends and family and the guests that we like to consider friends and family. That's when I say friends and family, I'm referring to the guests, because that's the way we feel.
It's a great way to approach it, because it's the truth.
A lot of familiar faces out there Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. It was fun to do the tastings again in person. At our 6-foot distance, we had people scattered all over, but it really worked out well. We had some first timers.
It didn't feel awkward.
Yeah, we had some first timers too, so that was good. But they didn't get the Chris experience because you were in the kitchen working. So the people that are doing the virtual, they get the bonus plan. Well, here we have another week. We have 2 delicious wines chosen for you, and Chef has some beautiful pairings to go along with it. We're going to start off in South Africa. I've been high on South Africa for quite some time for value and quality. A beautiful 1-2 punch there. This is no exception. So Chenin and Blanc, which, as you know or may not know, we'll find out here in a second, is really the white wine that South Africa is really pinned their reputation on. They had called it Steen for a very long time. I think they're slowly phasing that out. They want to take, I guess, Maybe it was maybe just a bit too slangy. I think they're trying to just label and advertise it as Chenin Blanc, which it is a beautiful interpretation of this grape that's originally from northern France. Now in the glass, you're going to notice it's a pretty light, but certainly a beautiful yellow hue to this, golden lemon, and it is absolutely delicious. It's a great summertime wine. This isn't the kind of wine that is going to slow you down. You're going to probably go if you have a taste for this wine, you are going to go through it quickly.
Yes.
And
and by design.
And by design, yes, and absolutely. Well, tell them about that beautiful fish that they're having in their pickup kit.
Very exciting. You've got the first of the season, bluefin tuna. It's caught off the coast of New England. Always a special time of year. We started getting in tuna from the Outer Banks last week. Their season's getting up and running, but the bluefin season is really a spectacular time, and the difference in the texture of the meat is stark. Of course, we love our North Carolina. Well, of course, the tuna aren't from North Carolina. They're caught off the coast of North Carolina. We love our yellowfin and our yellowtail tuna. But the bluefin is just without a doubt, I think, the creme of the crop. It's a much fattier tuna. It's a richer tuna when you sear it. It almost looks like you're searing a tenderloin. It doesn't look like fish. It's just absolutely stunning, and the depth of flavor that you're going to get off of this is really incredible. And even with the Chenin Blanc being on the lighter side, even the tuna in the tuna realm is certainly the heaviest of all the species, but it's still seafood, and it's going to handle it wonderfully. Mm-hmm. And you've got some nice lemon notes in your sauce that help complement the profile of this wine. So it's going to stay in line. But this is a real treat. You get one of the first tunas off the boat when the season opened this week. So just really excited for you to enjoy this. It's a real treat.
Yeah, and Chenin Blanc is with that sashimi style where you basically essentially raw here,
Yes,
and
absolutely.
the proteins can kind of build up on your tongue if you're eating multiple bites, and that acidity that Chenin Blanc brings from South Africa really helps cleanse your palate for that next bite and makes that next bite of tuna even more luscious and delicious because you've cleared those proteins.
Yeah, it washes it right out.
Your taste buds are clear to receive the next thing, and I guess it's one of those things that chefs really harp on, wanting to know that structure of that wine that's important for food and wine pairings. I don't think everyone always considers that. I think you should, and there's a perfect example. So Chenin Blanc, like I said before, a French varietal that has really blossomed for certain in South Africa over now hundreds of years. Is the winemaking there from the 1500s.
It really found its home here. I mean, the conditions, and maybe you could talk a little bit more about the conditions, but the French Chenin Blancs are much more tart, I think, in my opinion.
And they also have a more of the kind of what I would call like the waxy lanolin. There is that here. There's a touch of that waxy textural, but it's more subdued in South Africa. And I would say some of the Chenins of northern France, the Loire Valley area, can be really breathtaking, but really a mouthful, really chewy, not hard to digest, but it's one of those wines you want to take time to digest on the palate. And you're not gonna breeze through a bottle of that. You're going to kind of really analyze it, think about it, and certainly enjoy it. This one is meant more for just really enjoying in the moment. This isn't a wine that you're necessarily going to keep for 10 years. A couple years. Couple minutes. Yes. This is and it's so affordably priced here. It's almost they're practically giving it away. I don't know how they do it, how they
I mean,
get it to us and make money.
and five people make money in between.
Yeah,
I
and
mean-
it's $11. I mean,
Yeah.
are you kidding me? So this is a white wine, and oh yes, another twist off. So just in case you lose your wine tool, you will not be stuck. So this wine is best served up, like Chef said, with seafood. It really screams for it. And I think that you cannot go wrong with just about any seafood, but particularly I think your pairing is knocking it out of the park. And hopefully that y'all agree. And when you want some more wine, just holler and we will get it for you.
And certainly, it doesn't have to be this extravagant. When you're pairing this wine with seafood, certainly I would say it's going to handle any shellfish you throw at it. Maybe not as much a big oily fish. I don't know if I would do like Spanish mackerel or something. Although I think salmon would do great with this. But really, shellfish and your lighter fishes are going to go. Or just again, it doesn't have to be on the extremes that we do in our bundles.
Little shrimp would be lovely with this, I think.
Well, you bet. And if you would like some shrimp this week, the shrimp season in North Carolina.
Take advantage of it while
Never
you
been
can.
better. Never been better. It's coming in from multiple ports. We've been getting a lot of Holden Beach shrimp, but we're moving across multiple areas now. We're getting them for 3 different areas and beaches in North Carolina now. And, it's just a wonderful time of
Such a
year.
huge difference in the quality when we're getting these direct from the fishermen than what you would get in a grocery store. It's night and
It's
day.
night and day, and you're talking about, and there's nothing wrong with it. I mean, you can't have, that's the beauty of a season, is it's special when it's in season.
Like tomatoes.
And it's not special the rest of the year, even though we demand tomatoes year round and we get them. But it's not remarkable and it's not special. And so getting frozen shrimp from halfway around the world, tastes like shrimp. But boy, oh boy, is there a huge difference when you're eating something fresh that was swimming the day before, or even a couple days, whatever. It doesn't. When you're getting something direct from the coast, it's not like getting something that's been on a shelf somewhere for a couple of days. So your shelf life is outstanding. But the nuance of your food, and not to be too cutesy, but it's noticeable. And of course we harp on this. It's the philosophy on wine and food is not that different. You want, we do play on nuance, because at the end of the day, I mean, there's a million wines out there and a million recipes out there. But so at the end of the day, your ingredients, your building blocks are what separates good food from great food, and good food from great wine. And Ed loves to talk about the balance and the finish of wines, where you can have the same flavor profile. You could line up a dozen wines and they'll all have a hint or a note of this or this, that, but how do they finish? How do they balance? It's the same thing with food. You can line up 10 shrimp or 10 cheeses or what have you, and they're all going to taste like cheese or shrimp, but the ones that are fresh and nearby are going to have that something special that takes them from good to great, regardless of our manipulation of those ingredients. And so life's short. It's always worth an extra dollar, in my opinion.
Oh, yes, absolutely. And, what better time than now? This crazy world we're in. What you waiting for?
Yeah, what you waiting for? We don't not promise tomorrow, are we?
Hey, and this Sunday coming up is Father's Day. I want to wish my dad a happy Father's Day, and all you other fathers. I also wish my stepdad a happy Father's Day, and I'd like to wish Robert, Chris's dad, a happy Father's Day, and all you other fathers out there. And we got a lot of friends of our first time
a lot of
Father's
first
Day.
timers here. Yeah.
Yeah, so we have a lot of youngins kicking around in our neighborhoods.
Our little restaurant family you could have a playpen up there.
Yeah, but we're happy that we got a lot of healthy babies and happy parents, and we're happy to be a part of some part of their life. Yes, I will be Uncle Ed meaning I will watch your kids when they're well behaved, and I'll give them back to you when they misbehave. That's about the
We've been
extent.
through this a lot.
Yes. So, yeah, about that. Anyway, so cheers to all you fathers out there.
Cheers.
And we're going to move on to a red,
Thank you.
because I know Chris loves red. And he likes Spanish reds.
Oh,
So this Spanish red is from the Alicante region. And that is significant because it's very Mediterranean. They get tons and tons of sun. They're right there on the southeastern coast of Spain, and they get a lot of wind. So they do something, it's a little bit different than the rest of the world. They do what's called bush grooming of their vines, and they're basically like little low to the ground, almost like baskets of grapes. And so what happens is the grapes are on the inside. They're wound inside and help to grow on the inside to help protect them from the damaging or the drying winds. It's warm, so you've got to protect those grapes from complete getting raisined, I guess would probably be the best term I could use.
so it's not like the cooling winds of California after a hot day that actually benefit the grapes. It's a
Right.
hot wind after
Right.
a hot day.
Yes,
That's
yes.
coming through.
And there is no lack of sunshine in southern Spain, I can tell you that. So this is fantastic because of the way that Spain. I've mentioned it 100 times, if not more, that there's more acreage of vines in Spain than any other country in the world. They are very serious about their wine, so much so that they find ways to grow it and for it to really thrive in places that really the odds are against it. But they've found a way. I don't know if you want to call that technology, but they've found ways to overcome the things that are against the wine or against it being successful. Now, they do love dryness. Don't get me wrong. The vines don't want a lot of rainfall. But
They like to struggle.
Yeah, they like to struggle. So there is some element of struggle that they need. But
Actually, the vines don't like the struggle. The winemakers like the struggle.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, the winemakers like the result of
Right.
it. The vines are like, dude, what are you
Come
doing
on,
to me?
I could do twice this amount.
Yeah, right. So the way that they have this is to maximize yield, protect the product, and to give us a delicious wine. And this grape is Monastrell, also known as Mourvedre. Now, Chris and I have talked multiple times about the Southern Rhone, and GSM is the blend, Grenache Syrah, Mourvedre. Well, Mourvedre is Monastrell in Spain. So same grape that is so important to Southern France and so important to what we love as Southern French wines, particularly the red varietals. And those blends are so important. Here in Spain, though, you see it as a single varietal all the time. You won't really see that in France.
And even in the blends, I mean, it's the
the-
M is
yeah.
on the end for a reason.
Yeah.
It's Grenache Syrah
And then-
forward,
yeah.
and the Mourvedre is more of a rounding grape. To where here it's in the driver's seat. It's just so good.
Yeah. And again, chef's big on Spanish wines. Simply stated, dollar for dollar, you won't get it, whatever price point, dollar for dollar.
Every
Spain
time.
gives you more. Always. And we're talking about flavor. We're not just talking about something that you can drink. I'm talking about serious structured flavor.
Serious.
Mhm. And since before we get too deep in this wine, tell us about the pairing for this beautiful red.
Thank you. Yeah, we've got a great setup here. You've got Carolina Moon, which is a cheese from Chapel Hill Creamery. We've had it here before. It's been on a little hiatus, so we are certainly happy to see that back in our walk-in. So we have missed this cheese. It's one of our favorites. It's a brie style cheese, 100% cow's milk. To me, though, it's very buttery. It's more like a camembert than a brie. It's just this outstanding cheese. Want to give this a little time, even maybe come back around to it, eat a little bit now, and then circle back around after it's warmed up a little bit more. It'll reward you for that temperature change. So if you temper that a little bit, it's really going to reward you. But again, I know we have to revisit cheeses here and there, but when something's this great, why would you not? It's not like you're eating it every day. So love this cheese, love this creamery, love it with this wine. The Spanish obviously take their cheese incredibly seriously as well.
You love that manchego, don't you?
That manchego and the El Burco.
Yeah,
El Burco is
yeah.
one of my favorite cheeses in the world. I love Spain. They do so many things well. So enjoy that twice with this wine, a little bit now, and then sort of save a little bit to come around. You've also got a beautiful cured sopressata. This is from American Butcher. We had the cherry pie salami a couple weeks ago, which was delicious. This is from the same producer, but they make 5 varieties of their cured charcuterie, and we love this one. Sopressata is a classic. This is not a spicy sopressata, but tons of fat. And again, we've talked about the fat in our salamis and sopressatas and so forth. Got a great one for you next week as well. It didn't really work with the wines this week, so I'm going to save it and we're going to have it next week. But I'm really taken with this butcher right now and really highlighting a lot of what they do. So I think you'll love the way this sopressata just melts and introduces some beautiful fat into this fruity wine. And the fat from the cheese, I just think it's all working. I can't tell you how many nights
That sounds like a great meal.
Ed and I after work, that's what we would have. We would just put out some cured meats and cheeses and maybe some olives and have some wine, and you don't need anything else. Probably should have something else, but you don't need anything else. And
The next day we always say we probably should have had a little
something more
And
substantial.
I don't think it's so much about as much as the food is just the vast amounts of alcohol.
I don't remember.
Yeah, it's kind of blurry.
Well, and that's another great thing about Spanish wines. We talked about the quality to price ratio. And
you can afford to drink.
I don't know what it's like, but I think people who do drink in volume,
They can appreciate it.
they can appreciate a quality wine at we need a chart where how a lot of people will assess number values to certain matrix. We need the quaffability chart.
Should be one of them.
Hey Tyler. Tyler's coming through.
We're in Tyler's domain again today. We're trying to invade his space a little bit.
He's wondering what we're doing down here.
Yeah, he's like, "What are you doing in my barrel room?" I love it.
Filter pad.
Nice. That is. So he's filtering wine, and his hands are purple. So he's busy today.
He's writing us love notes on filter pads.
It was very nice because we got to taste some of his blends today.
Outstanding.
Absolutely
Outstanding.
delicious. Good stuff's coming your way.
Best one yet.
Absolutely. So on the Monastrell, we have done Monastrells before. Tarima Hill kind of is one of those that I would say they were the first winery that really got me into Monastrell probably 15 years ago. When I was up in, I guess it was probably, maybe 10 years ago. And the organic wines were kind of coming up, and people hated them. They were organic to be organic and didn't necessarily care about the quality of wine, if that makes sense. And this winery uses organic practices. They're not certified organic, but they're very much in tune with the use of anything that's added to their vineyard. They reduce any kind of chemicals, and a lot of times that can mean, for whatever reason, not such a great wine. But this is absolutely delicious, and you can also know that you have that good feeling that there's probably a much cleaner experience here. You're not going to have to wonder what's in there. Now, it really does help the fact that it's bone dry in this part of the country, so you're not going to see any mold.
Well, you're talking about people who've been in the area, been making wine for thousands of years, and in the last 10 or 15 years, somebody wants to label them organic and they
Right.
don't even know what you're talking about. That's
Sure,
what this
we've only
thing-
had chemicals for like
this is-
100,
I mean,
150 years.
They have
so-
no idea why you would want to label for common sense.
Right, yeah. But they do a wide, they have a nice sized portfolio. And I've been a fan of theirs for a very long time. We just revisited them, was it last week we
It
tried
was.
these?
Mhm.
And they've really fallen off my radar. I mean, not because I don't love them, it's just because I'm just constantly inundated with
New
wine.
wine.
And I guess, the distributors just didn't show this to me recently when I was like, oh, I remember this wine well. And I didn't remember it as fondly as I should have, because when we tasted, I was like, we both looked at each other and just kind of gave us, we gave each other that nod, like, yes, that's gonna work great. So sometimes it's fun to revisit wines from your past and see what's been going on with that winery. Even if they may have had some, vintages that were not so great, you never know what the next one's gonna bring. But I can assure you, I've never had a bad vintage of this wine. And I feel shameful that I haven't been purchasing more of it over the last decade, because it is absolutely a bargain, and it has so much density of fruit and absolutely bone dry. I love this finish, Chef. The tannins are so integrated, they're fine. The acidity really helps, I think, even showcase the tannin a little bit more.
It does, and the finish is so smooth. It's just, I'm glad we're getting a shot at redemption with it.
Blackberries, blueberries, there's certainly some earth here, and I guess it's almost like a stemmy organic type of tannin here that really it's just very pleasurable to me. I could see eating pounds and pounds of cheese and sausage with this. It's absolutely perfect for that. And I think you'll find it's also great with the other meats as well.
It is, and again, another great year-round wine. This could stand up to the heavy foods of winter, but
Sure.
drinkable right now, all through the warmer months, easily.
Yeah, we've been showcasing red wines that aren't super heavy, so that you can enjoy them now in this warmer season. Although the last 2 days we've had temperatures in the 50s in the middle of June. I don't even
Rain
understand
and
it.
soggy and cold.
So this would work for today, and it also work for Saturday when it's going to be 90. So this is what I would consider a red wine that would fit very well in warmer temperature foods and environments. It does have a decent amount of alcohol, but certainly not as high as a lot of Spanish wines, which could approach 15 to 16% easily.
It's not drinking hot.
It's not.
No,
You're not. The alcohol is super integrated here. It is well hidden, and that's another thing that we like to point out. Some wines can have lower alcohol and actually seem hotter, and I don't know what causes that phenomenon, but sometimes the alcohol just is more volatile in other wines than particularly this one. This one's just beautiful, and this is one of those wines too that you could put with all kinds of things off the grill too. If it is 90, 95 degrees.
Even lean meats.
Yeah, the foods that you're gonna pull off the grill, they're gonna pair with this beautifully.
I
Absolutely.
mean, obviously you and I were, Ed and I are gonna go to sausages on the grill, because that's who we are as people. But, I mean, you could steak,
No
chicken,
animal is safe.
pork, not true.
No animal.
But the leaner cuts, you're like a pork chop or a grilled chicken breast or what have you. I mean, it's going to handle it just fine, or even a lot of veggies, a lot of grilled veggies would be great. Especially the stemmy quality that's tasting on this, is really gonna pick up on the brightness of the vegetables, and sprinkle some cheese over your grilled veggies for
That's
that.
some eggplant. How about some eggplant right there?
Absolutely.
I think I'm gonna dive back in, guys. Well,
I've got a theory.
you're thirsty, that's my theory.
Well,
Was I right?
you are. Do you think the Spanish drive around their country and see spots that don't have grapes, and it's like a threat to their culture?
Why don't we have vines
Oh,
here?
well, you can't grow grapes there.
Yeah. I mean, Spain's what, like...
Yes, I will.
Spain can't be any bigger than Texas, I would say, in land mass. It's not I mean, none of the European countries are massive for sure. And to think that it has, the whole world covered in comparison.
Well, and you think Spain is also one of the more diverse countries with their topography as well. I mean, you got the mountains, the coast, the flatland. I mean, so it's not like it's one.
The highlands as well.
It's not one region you can. I mean, they put anywhere they walk, they stick a grapevine down.
And it's funny because the really well-known kind of higher prestige, we'll call them prestigious regions like Priorat, Rioja, they're very tiny areas. And that country is identified by a very small percentage of their acreage of vine, and they are far more diverse and spanning across the countries. It's actually a fascinating country. I would love to spend a couple years trying to figure out what they have going on. We're not even talking about sherry too. I mean, that's a whole other wonderful part of it.
And the patience, because this is a wine drinking country. So there are, as we've talked about so many times, so much wine available. Table wines is what we've commonly referred to, that you're going to drink every day at lunch, that you're going to have with dinner. Nothing special, just what you're having. But
and it just happens to be delicious.
It does, but you're probably going to have to correct me here on some of my numbers. But France in some ways is strict, but I think the Spanish are the most strict. I mean, to have a Rioja Reserve, you have a minimum of 3 to 5 years before you can release it to get these designations. Is that right?
The Grand Reserve's 5.
5. I mean, so
5 years of waiting patiently before you can sell your product.
While the French have a lot of qualitative, they don't have anything like that, I believe, that forbids you from releasing a wine.
And this was on the tails of last week where we visited that beautiful, was it 2014 Cabo Grand Reserve.
No, 15, you're right.
30
15.
months on lease. 30 months.
Incredible.
Crazy. So, their commitment, like you're saying, Chef, their patience is, what else do you need to know about how seriously they take their wine?
And these are the same people.
They're not rushing to market.
Yeah, these are the same people that sit on a side of ham for 2 years.
That's
before
true.
You, the prosciutto's a year, Serrano's 2.
Yeah.
Maybe. You're talking about one of their.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that's just the minimum. That doesn't mean they're going to release it. Then, if they let the food and the wine speak. If it's not ready in 2 years, you get 6 more months. Same thing with their cheeses. The Albercos. You can get. These will rival any aged Parmesan in Italy. With the patience and care they give these things, and so a society and a culture that values quality regardless of time. It's like, well, we'll just drink this while we wait for that. I mean, it's not. That's why they plan so. We're not going to starve or dehydrate.
Yeah.
But we're, that's special. Let's leave it alone, and we'll just have this today. And I just love that. I absolutely adore that.
And I'm going to segue there. So the people out there that I don't know if I'm pushing you, but I'm encouraging you to
pushing.
Yeah, I'm pushing. To have more wines at their house, more in their cellar, more in their basement, wherever you got to hide this stuff to keep you from drinking it. But have wines that you're drinking now and have wines that you're drinking later. The bigger your portfolio gets, the better your experiences are going to be. You drink the wine at the right time. You're not forcing the wine. And you can have some really, really special meals because you happen to have the right tool in your toolbox, which happened to be, let's say, a 2013 Barolo that fit your risotto just perfectly on that particular night. So don't be afraid to, forget about your wines a little bit, but build your stock, build your foundation so that you can be patient like the Spanish and have the right wine at the right time. I think that's a great lesson there, and your taste buds will be very, very pleased.
And I would even, if you're going to do that, take it a step further. Get a journal, and when you buy a case of wine, treat it as 3 cases of wine. You need to take a bottle when you buy a case and drink it today. maybe make a little note before you put it away. And then separate a couple of bottles to visit throughout the years. You don't want to set the whole case aside and then drink it 10 years from now.
Right.
Drink it every year to see how it's maturing and compare it to the way it was tasting, and you can see it develop, and that way you don't miss a great year too. Because sometimes if you say, well, so-and-so said this should age for 10 years, well, you know, if you're checking on it every year or two and you taste it in 4 years and it's like, whoa, you know, go ahead and knock down a few more bottles.
That's right.
And only keep some. I mean, it's just fun.
Yeah.
You know, what I like to do is ignore everything in my life and just buy more wine. And, you know, you can make a way to find it work.
It will always find a way, because it's in your heart.
That's right.
And your heart leads the way. And Chef has a heart filled with wine. And if it's not
And
filled with
cheese.
wine, you better get him some.
And cheese.
That's true. Well, I hope that we've given you plenty of comic relief and a little bit of food and wine knowledge along the way. We continue to thoroughly enjoy this, and we will continue doing these videos until you get sick of it, and then we'll keep doing it some more.
We'll probably double down at that point.
That's true.
Yeah.
Well, happy tasting, everybody, and we'll catch you next week.
Thanks for being with us. Thank you.
See ya.
Bye.